Hey everybody, how are we doing? I think I'm a few seconds late, maybe a minute late, maybe a minute early. I can't tell right now. It doesn't really matter. Uh, we're just gonna get started. So, let me try and get chat to where I can see it. We got chat showing up in the stream. It looks like things are good. Let me know if you can hear me and see me, because that's kind of important. Hey, pause. Hey, the Roxaya, Yuval, Gandhi. How are you all doing? I have to put a little warning up front. Normally my wife is here while I'm streaming and hanging out with the kids. She's off at an appointment today, so it's just me and a 4.5-year-old off in the other room watching videos and playing with toys. So, there very well may be times and places where I get interrupted, and that's cool, that's fine. Just letting you know, it may happen. So, cool, you can see me, you can hear me. Pause thinks I started on time, which I think I probably did too, but I'm not positive. Positive. So yeah. So what I want to do today is something a little different. And this may not be the only thing we do today. We may do this, we may end up doing something else, I don't know. But Fog Creek Software, I'm going to make sure I got that right. Yeah, Fog Creek, because they make FogBuzz and Stack Overflow and Trello. They made a website called Glitch. And Glitch is pretty awesome because it's meant to be a site where you can go and build stuff without having to know programming. Now, obviously, I do know programming, so I don't necessarily need Glitch, but it's a cool idea for just a way to play with stuff and just see what happens. So what's cool too is you can look at the stuff that other people have done, and then you can like fork it and make your own stuff too. So that's just kind of neat. So I thought we would explore this together a little bit, and maybe we'd build something. Maybe we would just see what's available, and then we'll do other things as we go. Last week we played around with a language called Crystal that was, it would take Ruby and turn it into like a compiled thing using LLVM. Someone came out with, I saw this one a day or two ago, called Coconut, and this is a Pythonic. It's Python, but it is like this functional thing, and it gets turned. Maybe we'll play with this too. We'll find out. But let's try a little bit of Glitch. So I want to check out this Pixelatize one from Jen Schiffer. I basically trust anything and everything that Jen does. So let's check this out. Let's see what it does. Okay, so we pick a pixel size, and then we pick a file. So let's see, I'll grab a wallpaper. Let's go with that one. And then it pixelates it. That's pretty cool. So let's see, if we go like 50. Whoa. All right. And if we do like 5. Can you not just use that same picture right away? Oh, okay. Just took a little while. That's cool. All right, we'll put it back on 15 where it was before, because that was neat. Abhishek, I'm glad you liked the Python videos. So if we hit enhance, that does something. What if we hit fade? Oh, that kind of blurries it a little bit. Whoa, what? That's cool. All right. So So let's try this remix on glitch. Let's see what happens if we want to remix it. So right now it's fetching the project. Okay, and so we've got this env thing here where we can put environment variables. Okay. Package JSON, so this would list the different things that we need to have. So when it runs, it's going to run server.js, which that's just a pretty simple node. It's just an Express server, right? We're using Express. We're serving some static stuff. All right. Index, I'm going to assume there's not a whole lot here. Yep. Basically a little form. And then we have pixelatize. And so this is going to be where all the super fun major work is being done. Okay. So that's cool. So it looks like this draw image is probably doing most of the work. Okay, so we got context there, so we're drawing the image. So pixelatize is going to be what does most of the work. So let's see if we can mess with this a little bit. So size, get average RGB. All right, so yeah, we're just going through. We're figuring out how much red, green, and blue is in a total thing. And then doing that. Fill style is that. Okay. So there may not be a whole lot here to do, but we could mix it all up, right? So like let's do green where the red is, and blue where the green is, and red where the blue is. So all we're doing is we're just completely screwing it up. Oh, and glitch autosaves. All right, nice. So now let's do show. Hey, agenda. Show is show. Wow. Glitch is a platform created by the wonderful people over at Fog Creek that will let you do coding experiments online without you having to write the code yourself or without you having to write all the code yourself. So that's kind of cool. So now we get this one that's like pixelated but also color shifted, right? So what was red became, what do we say, blue. What was green became red, and what was blue became green, something like that. So that's kind of cool. That's neat. And then I didn't catch what the enhance button did. See if we have anything here on enhance. Oh, here's enhance. Okay. So clear out the fade interval. Size gets smaller. So it looks like it just starts drawing it a little smaller and smaller. Oh, yeah, it's clearing up the pixels, right? So it's going from 15 down to smaller and smaller pixel sizes. So that's neat. All right. And then if we do fade, let's look at the code for fade. So if we look at fade, so fade goes the other way. Fade gets bigger. It increases the size of the... So we'll go ahead and we'll hit fade as well there. Let's see what fade does. Hey, Samir, how are you doing? Looks like that got hung up a little bit. All right, so that was neat. That was cool. Let's go back to glitch. Feels like my browser's hung up. So that's exciting and fun. So one of the cool things about glitch is, like I said, you can do a lot of programming without having to do, or you can build cool code things without having to do programming. And one of the things that makes that really cool is you can use it to build like Twitter bots or Alexa skills, right? That's what they call Alexa things, right? Yeah, they're skills. So that's really cool. Like, you can kind of solve those little programming desires without having to know how to do them yourself. So that's neat. Samir says, to understand glitch, do you need to have a knowledge of Java? No, you shouldn't have to know Java at all. Most of this is just stuff that is, I wanna play with things. So, like, let's look through the bots. I don't know that we'll build a bot, but maybe we will. Alexa flash briefing compatible JSON feed from submitted articles. Okay. So that would be like asking for Alexa for the news, I'm guessing. Mastodon bot, Twitter bot, Google Home bot. That's cool. Twitch bot, Messenger bot. Is there a YouTube bot? We'll just stick it onto the stream. Doesn't look like it. And so what's also cool is they have stuff for learning how to code. Tell you what, let's search here for YouTube and see what we find. Video data, YouTube previewer, YouTube analytics. Get comments. Alright, let's not worry about those. And then we have hardware stuff, which that's cool. We don't need hardware stuff, but... And let's look inside the Learn to Code. Right now, this is kind of a tour at the moment. So we're just kind of looking through stuff. So this is neat because we get things like, here's learning some more stuff about JavaScript, or calculating the movement of circles off of lines. Let's check that one out. That sounds neat. So we have lines that are moving, and then we're bouncing the circles off. Okay. Let's check out the source code for that one. So if we look at that one. Oh, wow, that is very heavily documented. Cool. So, oh, hold on just a moment. I think I hear my son. I'm going to toss up the countdown, and I'll be back in just a minute. Alright, sorry about that. I am back. Hopefully that won't happen too much. So I wanted to look through this and just kind of see what we're doing here. And I don't know that we're going to change this a lot, but let's just see what it's doing. So we're going to grab a canvas tag, so that's cool. And then we're setting up our world. So here's our world. So we have a list of circles, or an array of circles. We have an array of lines, so we could add more lines in or take lines out if we wanted. We have the size of the world, and we have the last time that a circle was made, so that we can make circles like on a clock. And then we're going to call tick. I'm assuming we're going to call tick every X number of seconds or milliseconds. We're going to update the world. We're going to draw the world. And then we're going to queue up another tick. Okay, that's cool. So we update the circles. We create a new circle if one's due. And we rotate the lines. When we update the circles, we're just moving the circles around. Yep. So yeah, here we're checking to see if we're circling, if a circle intersects with a line. If so, we're going to bounce that circle. We're going to apply some gravity. We're going to move the circle. And if there's a circle that bounced out of the world, then we're going to get rid of it. Easy enough. All right, so here we can change this. Let's hit the remix this button so that we get a remix. Because we wanna do our own. We don't want to mess with the one that's there. Not that I assume we'd be able to. So here we can make it so that it makes circles twice as often. So let's click the show button. Yeah, and so now, see, we're just getting like this constant stream of circles. Okay, so that's cool. But if we're going to have that many circles, then we should make the lines move faster too, right? So let's see if we can find this rotate speed. There we go. The rotate speed is currently 0.5. I'm going to bet we make that bigger to go faster. We'll find out in a second. It looks maybe a little bit faster. We doubled the number of lines, but we only increased the speed by 1/4. So let's, or not double the number of lines, sorry, double the number of circles. So let's do that at 300 instead of 200. That's a little better. That's a little closer to the original. We have a few more circles. Our lines move a little bit faster. All right. Well, let's do something just ridiculous. Let's go at that. And let's go at like that. See what that does. Yeah. Really fast circles. A lot of circles, really slow lines. That's neat. So yeah, so if you were trying to learn programming, and you just wanted to read through code, this could be a really great way to play with it and see what you're doing. So that's cool. I like Glitch. Glitch is neat. So let's see. Let's go look at one other thing. Let's go look at the games. Because they've got games that you can make. Yeah, Pause. Glitch is kind of cool. It's got some really neat stuff. So Anil Dash is one of the people behind Glitch. He does some pretty awesome work too out there. Let's check out this drawing game. Let's do this remix your own. And once we figure out what the URL would be, y'all can come and draw with me. Okay, so if y'all want to head to this URL, you should be able to draw. So everybody draw nice things, and nice things only. I should plug my pencil in so I can... Here we go. So let's see if we can do a smiley face. Or I can do my name. Sort of. I'm really bad at... I have a pen and like a pad, and I'm really bad at using these. So as you can see, that didn't work out super well. So anyway, that's cool. But that's kind of boring. So let's edit the code to see if we can get something different. Do we have anywhere? Okay. So I bet if we look in here, the line color is probably handled in here somewhere. So there's our cursors. The pointer for the cursor. I would have assumed we had a color in here somewhere for the line. H group. That's pretty much white. So where is our line? Draw a line. Okay, is draw a line something of ours? Here it is. All right, so now let's look up canvas stroke, because that's what that is. And let's see if we can change the color. That one's probably what I want. Piximperfect. What software am I using? I use OBS to do that. Can I not change the color of a stroke? That's really weird. I would have thought I could change the color of the path. So canvas stroke color. Hi, Dark Dev. How are you doing? Stroke style. So where did they set that? That was just inside of like draw. Okay, so let's try doing that. Let's try doing like ctx.stroke style. Stroke style, okay. And then setting the equal to color, so black or white. Try that. I don't know if that'll work, but we'll try that. I'm alright, Dark Dev. Yeah, now we've got a white one. Okay. So what if I change this to, say, red? That makes red. Okay. So what we need to do is let's do colors. Not var equals. Var colors equals. And let's say black, white, red, blue, and green. I'm gonna bet those are okay. And then let's see, JavaScript, array, random. I'm just gonna get a random item out of the array. Get random item from JavaScript array. That works. And that's pretty simple. So what I want to do here is this is equal to colors math.floor math.random times colors.length. Close that parenthesis. All right. So now, if we go to look at this, All right. Each time it draws, it picks a random color. So maybe we want to move that. Let's see, where would we move that? So that's on mouse move. We're saying the mouse move. Drawing is set to drawing. And then we call draw line. Okay, so let's do color. Well, actually, let's just take... So this is going to take a color. And let's say color goes here. And var color equals that thing. And we'll move that up there. And we'll pass in color right there. See you later, Dark Dev. All right, let's see if that works. And I'm still getting the horrible flashy thing. I was trying to avoid getting the flashy bit. But it looks like that's not going to be an easy thing to do. Because I really want that to happen at the end of the update, right? When the mouse cursor comes up. Oh, let's try doing this. Let's try doing var color up there. And pop that out. Put it into here. Color is equal to that. Take that color out. Take that color out. But leave that one. Yeah, so each time I draw, all the colors change. That's kind of cool. That's kind of neat. So, yeah. That can be a fun little experiment. So, yeah. If anybody wants to try this, you should be able to go to trashy-lamb.glitch.me. And if you draw, it should show up on the screen. I'll leave this up for just a minute if anybody wants to go and draw. So, yeah. Hi, TPS. How you doing? Yuval, that's what we basically did. We stuck it in the beginning. We defined the stuff up there. Because really what I want it to be a random thing for each drawing, right? Each time somebody draws, it should be set to a random color. And I don't want to do it while you're drawing because I don't want that, like, you know, strobing effect. That would be bad. But yeah. So anybody gonna hit that and try to draw? See if that works? Because I'm pretty sure that will. But we'll find out. And then let's see, it was about a half an hour, and then maybe we'll try out Coconut, or we'll try one more thing. TPS right now it's JavaScript. Glitch is built all in JavaScript, because that's, you know, one of the languages that people think is really good for beginners. I'm not super big on it for beginners, but hey, yeah, there we go. There's other mouse cursors. Oh no. Cool. So neat. So, yeah. That's cool. And then we're using WebSockets to do the WebSockets are how you can see the other cursors moving around. Hey, Brandon. Great. All right, so I'm going to close these out. I think I want to look at one more glitch thing, and then we'll see what else we can do here. So I do want to look at the like the API stuff. Let's look inside Tools for Works, but then we'll look at Handybots again as well, because I do want to see how the glitch for platform stuff works, because that's a really awesome thing to provide. So let's see. A lot of these wouldn't be fun to play with on stream. YouTube analytics. Yeah, okay. I think I'm going to skip those. So let's look at the bots. Let's build an Alexa skill. Let's see what we have to do for that. So I want to... So pause. Actually, first TPS. I will. We'll see you later. Hope you enjoy watching it. Lemon Banana Glitch.com is a playground built by the people at Fog Creek to allow people to learn to program online. It's pretty neat. Pause. You said you've been studying Flask on Treehouse lately, and you want to use Flask to build a blog for your wife. Go for it. Flask is great for stuff like that. Excuse me. Okay, so to get started on this, we have to set up an Alexa skill in our Amazon developer account. Excuse me. There's more information in here. Okay. So okay, so we have to go to Amazon's developer site and make a new Alexa skill. Okay. So I'm pretty sure I have a developer account already. See if it's just my normal Amazon account. Yeah. That's not my phone number, but whatever. All right, I'm gonna pop this off screen so I can fill it out correctly. And then once I know all the data is correct, which a lot of this was wrong, then I will, yeah. Save that. I will agree to the agreement. No, I'm not going to monetize it. Sweet. Okay. So, now that it looks like all my incriminating stuff is off the screen, or incriminating, all of my, you know, personal stuff. Okay, so add a new, that's not what I want. Alexa? What does this say? That's not what I want. That's what I want. Create an account if you don't have one. Then under the Alexa section, select Alexa Skills Kit. And from there, add a new skill. Alexa Skills Kit. Ben, Ben, you were asking me to do the wallpapers on Twitter, weren't you? I actually tried doing that, and Google was like, oh, you can only add 500 items to a gallery at a time. And I had already selected like all 600 and something of them, and so then I just didn't do it. But I will do one soon. I promise. Okay, so let's look at this. So we're going to add a new skill. Select the custom interaction model. Custom interaction model, yep. Give your app a name. We'll say airport info. And then for the invocation name, choose an invocation name. This is the name you say to Alexa to activate your skill. So Alexa, ask port info. Sure. Port info. That works. Okay, so you want to specify your intent schema and sample utterances. Let's hit save on that. The audio player directives. I don't know what the audio player directives are. We'll say no for now. Okay, so now we come to the interaction model. All right, here we go. So then, thankfully, this was made easy by Alexa app. There are endpoints for the detail already. For internet schema, copy and paste the output given at this place. All right. So if you look at this, it's just JSON data. So we have intents. So we have an object. We have intents here, which is a list of objects. This object says airport info, and it says airport code and FAA codes. So these are the slots that can be filled in. And for utterances, we're going to grab this thing. So it's things like airport info, airport info, flight, airport code, and so on. So sample utterances. I know this a little bit because I've played with this before with Andrew Chalkley. Okay, so that's there. Select add slot type and enter FAA codes under. So that's here. So FAA codes. Under enter type, under enter values, copy and paste all of the values from FAA codes.txt file into your project. All right. So grab all of those, paste them all in here. Okay. This setup is like super easy. So then configuration. Under endpoint, select HTTPS and add your project's publish URL. Okay, so we're going to hit next. The given internet schema was not in the correct form or intent schema. What is not? Oh, right. These should be strings. And I think they even have to be double-quoted strings, right, for JSON? All right. Unknown slot type FAA codes. Did I not do something right? Lastly, select add slot type and enter FAA codes under enter type. FAA codes. Oh, I didn't hit add. That would be it. Now, if I remember correctly, there is a web interface for testing this, so hopefully we'll be able to test it. So the model's being built. And y'all could, of course, build your own Alexa skills on this. If you have a Dot or a an Echo, or one of the new devices use the Alexa skills too. So I'm guessing that one would be able to do it. Okay, so that was that. That was that. Configuration. Under endpoint, select HTTPS. We'll put it in North Africa. And then for the URL, we take whatever this one is. So receptive rocket. And we append /airport info. So airport info. I think it was with a hyphen. Nope, no hyphen. Okay. So for example app, it's blah, blah, blah. Select no for account linking. No. Permissions. I shouldn't need any of those. Okay. So then SSL certificate. My development endpoint is a subdomain of a domain that has a wildcard certificate. That's that one. Because we got to be SSL if we're doing HTTPS. Test, publishing information, and privacy. Has testing enabled under test. Okay. Hear how Alexa will speak a response entered in plain text or SSML. For example, here is a word spelled out. Okay, I want to do this. Example utterances. Okay, so we should be able to test this. Oh, and we can use EchoSim. So let's see about that. Log in with Amazon. Log in with my Amazon account. Yeah, that's okay. You can use my microphone. Okay, so I should be able to test. Okay, so let's see. What was our thing? Port info. Okay, let's call this airport info. I think that'll be a little easier. And then once that's built, then test should turn on. Takes a little bit, doesn't it? Blah, blah, blah. So you can go ahead and click and hold the mic button and give Alexa a test command. Say, ask invocation name, airport status, JFK. Alexa should run with the airport info. Let me see the request coming in. Okay. So let's test that as soon as this thing finishes building. Yeah, Ben, I'll try to get the wallpapers. Dan wants to know what Chrome extensions I have. I've got a ton of Chrome extensions. I can tell you what these are right here. That's 1Password. That's uBlock Origin, Accessibility Developer Tools, Privacy Badger, Pama Done, which I never really use, HTTPS Everywhere, Toby, Mercury Reader, Pinboard, and then these two are for checking email and Google Calendars. And then I've got a ton more here. So, yeah. Humanoid. We're playing with Glitch, building an Alexa test. So let's try this. We said it was going to be airport info. So I should be able to say, ask airport info, airport status. Okay. Ask airport info, airport status, PDX. And let's see if that works. I don't know if this will...
There is currently no delay at Portland International. The current weather conditions are overcast, 59.0 F. 15.0 C and winds southwest at 5.8 miles per hour.
Did any of that come through to where y'all could hear it? I don't know if it came through or not, so that's why I was wondering. That was pretty cool though. Like that was. Is there a way I can see the logs? That's not what I want. Reporting. I'm gonna guess from Brandon's message there of sweet that the info came through. Yeah, you could hear it. That's cool. That's pretty awesome. They said something about logs over here. In your project with the logs open, you can see the request coming in. Oh, logs. Ha, there's logs. All right, cool. Yeah, so check this out. So it loaded this stuff, and it got received airport info for PDX. So this is the info that came back out for Portland. That's really cool. That's really neat. And that was like super simple. And if you wanted to change this, then you can change the type of data that comes in, comes out. You can change the kinds of things that are gonna be said. And of course, you can build a skill that does something totally different. So if you wanna build a skill that does whatever, I don't know. Then you can build one. So that's really neat though, and EchoSim definitely made that nice to play with and test. Yeah, that's pretty cool, Glitch. I'm impressed. That's very well done. So this one, if I remember correctly, was built by Big Nerd Ranch, or originally was created by Big Nerd Ranch. So thanks to them as well, because that's pretty awesome. So good work, everybody. Good stuff. All right, so now let's see what we can do with Coconut. Let's see if we can get Coconut to work. I'm gonna change this so the title says Glitch and Coconut, just so that people have an idea of what's coming in there. But anyway, that's cool. That was really neat. So I'm gonna pop open my terminal. All right, and then I'm gonna pip install Coconut, not Coconut, Coconut. Okay. And now I've got to make this a lot smaller because I can't see this and my terminal at the same time. Okay, so that'll let me do stuff. So yeah, let's go through Coconut's tutorial and see what's here. Because I gotta admit, like, they said, hey, it's a functional programming language inside Python, and I was like, great, sign me up, I'm good. But I definitely want to see how it works. So let's go through a tutorial to get our help. Okay, so Coconut is going to give us, if I just run Coconut, do I get like a shell or something? I do. Sweet. If I had just read this, I would have known that. So that's the basic stuff there. Okay, and so we can do our... We can do so we're piping. We've got our value. We're going to pipe it into something else. And so we're piping it into print. And that's going to cause it to be printed out. Okay, so that's easy enough. Let's get out of this. Let's pop open Visual Studio Code. And let's make a new file. Do this inside of my projects folder. And let's make a new folder that we'll call Coconutty. All right, so inside here, let's do hello world.coco. Oh, no, just select that folder. There we go. Chrome theme is... You're assuming I can find that. I'm guessing somewhere in here is where it would tell me what my theme was. Theme? Yeah, I honestly don't remember what the name of my theme is. If you go search for like material on the themes page, you'll see it listed. Okay, so we're gonna make a new file, and inside here we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna do hello world, and then we're gonna pipe that into print, and we'll save that as hello world.coco. So just save that as what I tell you to save it as. This is Python, or you can pretend it's Python. And then if we were over here and we went into Coconutty, and we do coconut hello world.coco, then Coconut complains. We have a style warning here saying there's no new line at the end, which there's not. Oh, I love grumpy compilers. So it compiles it, and we get hello world.py. So if we were to do Python hello world.py, we get hello world. So it's doing this compilation, right? Where we're writing this in Coconut, and then it's compiling it into Python, and then we can just run it straight as Python. So that's really cool. That's very nice. We can do that. Okay. Okay, so let's do this factorial one. So make a new file, and def factorial, and we take a number, and so we're going to compute factorials for a number. So we want to grab all the integers below it. So if in is instance, I'm guessing that's how we invoke a function. Int and n is greater than or equal to 0. Then ACC equals 1. For x in range 1, n plus 1. ACC times equals x. Oh yeah, we want to grab all the numbers. Yeah, y'all know what factorials are, right? So otherwise, if n is not a number and it's not greater than or equal to 0, then we're going to raise a type error. The argument to factorial must be an integer greater than or equal to 0. Okay. So then we're going to do some test cases down here. We're going to say -1 piped into factorial, and that will print. That'll go into print, and this should be our type error. If we get the same thing here for 0.5, right? Those should both be type errors because they're not above 0 or they're not integers. If we do just 0, then that should print 1. And if we do 3, then that should print 6 because all the numbers below 6 below 3 multiplied together should give us 6. Okay. So let's say that's factorial imperative.coco. And so now if we come down here and we do coconut factorial. Yeah, I know there's no new line. It's whatever. Gosh. Friggin' grumpy compilers. All right, so now if I do Python factorial of Python, then I get a type error on that first one. Let's go look at what it builds me for Python. Wow, look at all this Python. That's a lot of code. Oh, I wonder, I didn't put the comment here that says test cases. Let's do that, and let's recompile that. Oh, that's not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Okay, and now let's try running that again. Okay, and it gave me a type error. Match error. Wow. This is a lot. I'm amazed at how much code this thing generated. I want to see if there's the test cases in here somewhere, though. So, yeah, so here's the compiled coconut. So we got factorial. If is instance in int and in greater than or equal to 0, then it does all the stuff, right? Otherwise, it raises a type error. So here we try to print that first one. It should raise a type error. So let's comment that one out. We should now get a type error again. But this is on the 0.5 one. Yep, see right there? Print factorial 0.5. Okay, and so now if I do these two, I should get 1 and 6, which I did. Cool, okay. So that's our imperative version, where we wrote out the whole function, we worked through everything. So now let's try doing this in the recursive method. So we'll make a new file. Yoo-hoo, new file. New file, factorial recursive.cocoa. Pretend this is Python. And so now we'll do factorial again, where we get a number. And then we're going to do a switch on n. Ugh. So if it's a 0, we're going to return 1. If it's anything that's an int and greater than 0, then we're going to return n times factorial n minus 1. That's closer to what I'm used to doing. And if it's not any of those, if we fall out here to the else, then we raise a type error. Give me a number. Give me a whole number. Give me a positive whole number. Okay. So then let's just do 0 piped into factorial, which would be piped into print, and 3. So I should again get 1 and 6. So if we do coconut factorial rec.cocoa, I know there's no new line. I'll eventually remember to do those. And we get 1 and 6 again. Cool. So this bugs me. I don't like switch statements, but sorry, let me get a sip of water there. But this feels closer to Rust's match case, where in Rust you have match, and then you specify what the match condition is going to be in an enum. That's okay. This is closer to pattern matching than it is. It's not a switch, right? Because switches are horrible. Let's see what this looks like inside here, though. I just want to see the factorial bit at the bottom. So, coconut match is false. Coconut match to n. If coconut match 2 is equal to 0, then the match check is 0. And if the match check at that... Alright, so we have a variable here set to false. This is where we're holding on to what we're matching. So if that matches equals to 0, then we set the match to true. And if the match is currently set to true, then we return 1. If it's not a match there, then we still match to n. If it's an instance of int, then we set it to true. If it's an instance, if that's currently true and n is not greater than 0, That reads a little weird, but okay. Then we set it to false. If it's still true, then we return n times factorial n minus 1. If at this point it's all still false, then we throw the type error. Okay. That's not nice, clean code. But it's code that you didn't write. It's generated code. So lots of times you get really nasty code when it's generated code versus if you had written the code out by hand, right? Like if we wrote this out by hand, we wouldn't have all of these jump back and forth switch statement kind of or like switching values things, right? We would just have a couple of succinct ifs and we'd return the code. So it's not great, but it's not terrible. So yeah, okay, that's fine. Let's not worry about the iterative. I mean, yeah, actually, that's not terrible. We'll do that one too. We'll type that one out as well. But first, I got asked, why don't I like switch statements? It's actually not me that doesn't like switch statements. I mean, I don't like them, but it didn't just start with me. It's long been a pretty well-known thing. I want to say it was Dennis Ritchie or Donald Knuth that brought it up as well. Switch statements have a problem. Right? Like if we do like switch in case A, foo, case B, bar, default, baz, right? So like let's say that that's our switch statement, right? Yeah, it's not me, it's you. That is 100% what it is. Let me see if I can make my font bigger here because it feels like it's very small. Font size. Copy to settings. Let's make you 18. Yeah, that feels a little better. Okay, so let's say this is your switch, right? What's wrong with the switch? Can you see what's wrong right now? Because right now it's always going to do baz. Like no matter what I put in, it's always going to do baz. Like I said, Dan, I don't know the name of the theme. Go look on the Chrome App Store. Go look in the themes. Search for material. You'll see it. It's the only one that's green. I don't remember the name of it. So anyway, the problem with the switch is I forgot to do that, right? I forgot to put break in there. So if you ever forget to put in break, like, it's done. That's silly. I shouldn't have to remember all that. So, I mean, I think what will actually happen in this original version is it'll actually call foo, assuming it comes in as A, it'll call foo, then it'll call bar, then it'll call baz. I think it'll actually call all three of them no matter what in actually is, because I didn't put in the breaks, so I have to remember to do the breaks, right? So it's a weirder way to figure out what went wrong. It's much easier to just be like, if n is equal to A, foo, if n is equal to B, bar, else, baz. Right? Like, there's no ambiguity there. There's nothing there that can go wrong. It's going to match one of those, or it's not, and it's going to hit baz. So that's fine. This right here is the entire reason we don't have switch statements in Python, is because Guido hated dealing with switch statements and having this. He doesn't want to have them, he doesn't want to deal with them, and it's because this right here is way more explicit about what you want to do. This right here is still explicit, but prone to a lot of errors. You can fall through cases really easily. So that's why we don't have switch statements in Python. It's one of my favorite things about Python is that there's no switch statements. And that's why, because they are a gigantic pain in the butt to deal with. So, until we get to this, though, or until we get to this, now that we're done with that, let's do this iterative method. So we're still doing factorials. We're still doing factorial of n. So, but the thing is, this isn't a switch statement. This is pattern matching. And pattern matching is fine. Pattern matching is actually really nice. So we don't, this is indicating we don't care what the variable value is. But we're just checking to see if it's an int and if it's greater than 0. If that's the case, then we're going to return range. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. We'll talk about what that does in just a second. Give me an int greater than 0. Yeah. I like that one a lot. That one's really nice. Factorial iter dot coco. So what is this doing? Let's turn that back into Python. So this is cool. So we've got this case in. So in comes in, and we're gonna look at in. And so if it matches 0, if n is a 0, then we automatically return 1 because the factorial of 0 is 1. Otherwise, whatever it is, that's cool. We're going to return this range. So we're going to generate a range. So let's say that n was 5. So we're going to generate a range from 1 to 6. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to pass that range into reduce, and we're reducing it by multiplication. So take that range and every two things in the range, multiply them together, and then multiply the next one and the next one and the next one, and reduce all of that down into one single number, and return that number, because this range goes into reduce sends back a value, and that value gets returned. That's really nice. That's so... Oh, that's great. That's really good. That's awesome. If anybody needs me to explain that again, let me know and I will. I have a feeling that's going to look horrible as Python code, so I don't even want to... I don't even want to update that. Yeah, that's gonna look horrible as Python code, but that's really nice. I like Coconut. Okay, so now I'm gonna check out this new feature here, this add pattern, and this looks neat. So we're starting with this factorial, with this one here, but instead of... Yeah, let's just write this out. So let's just add another file here. Let's call this factorial add pattern.coco. And again, we're gonna mark Coco stuff as Python. I can probably fix that so that it does something different, but yeah. So def factorial 0 equals 1. So defining our factorial function. If we get a 0, we're just going to immediately return a 1. Straightforward. All right. So then we're going to do this add pattern. And we're going to add a pattern to factorial. And so now we're going to do a new factorial pattern. So if n is an int, and if n is greater than 0, then this new pattern is equal to range 1 n plus 1 piped into reduce multiplication. That's really nice code too. That's much simpler. So this is closer to like, yeah, I know Flake 8's. Flake 8 doesn't know what to do with this because it's not actually Python. But that's a really nice pattern too. So what we're doing here is we're defining factorial, and if factorial gets a 0, we immediately return 1. Okay? Fairly straightforward. But then we're going to add a new pattern to factorial, and what we're doing is we're defining this right here as the pattern. So we're taking we're reducing this down and reducing the ambiguity, right? We're defining each of these matches, each of these states. So if it's a 0, we immediately return 1. We're going to add another pattern to factorial. If the pattern matches this to where n is an integer and n is greater than 0, then now we're going to return this thing instead. That's pretty cool. Yeah. And then, oh yeah, and if we wanted to, we could do add pattern to factorial. Factorial n is int if n is greater than 0, and that's going to equal n times factorial of n minus 1, right? So we could do that as well. That's exactly what we did here in the recursive version, right? Where we returned n times factorial n minus 1. But we're doing it here with the pattern matching instead. So you wouldn't do both of these, you'd just do one or the other. But those are cool. Those are really neat. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just kind of like amazed by all of this. I'm going to comment this one out because I don't like that as well. I like this one better. I like the reduced one better. But chat, what do you all think of? Does this make sense? Does the coconut stuff make sense? What do you all think of that one? Tell me what you think. And then maybe we'll look at another thing here. I don't think I care about the quick sort as much. Well, maybe the quick sort's kind of cool. Yeah. Yeah, we'll play with quick sort. We'll look at quick sort. But yeah, what do you all think of coconut? Coconut's kind of neat. I don't know that I would build something in coconut, but I might. It might be a nice one-off for like I need to write this function in a very nice way and just use that. Brandon is curious if there's any performance overhead with the gobs of generated code. There probably would be on the first run, right? So, like, if I do coconut factorial add pattern, and that's going to compile, and then if I was to do, like, Python factorial add pattern .py, so that happened pretty fast, right? Because, you know, we're just executing through all this code. But what matters is now I should have... no? Let's just go in here and we'll say from factorial add pattern import factorial 15. I mean, well, that was pretty fast. Let's try something large. Yeah. So we'll let that sit and run for a minute. So it may be a little slow, but it should be faster because we have this cache, right? So it should only be slow to execute, assuming you're not doing something large, like calculating the factorial of 2.5 million, which I'm probably gonna have to kill that. It'll probably die in a minute. It should be fast enough because Python has cached the bytecode. So since the bytecode gets cached, it's going to use that cached bytecode every time instead of using a brand new compilation every time. So we go from Cocoa, where we can write this nice, short, small, functional language, into Python, where we can use it anywhere we want. And then Python compiles that into bytecode, and we get the speed benefits of just executing bytecode every time instead of having to execute a new compilation every single time. Because Python's interpreted, but only the first time. Unlike, say, JavaScript, where it gets interpreted every time, right? I mean, your browser caches it, Node caches it, but effectively it is redone every single time. It's a little disconcerting how many... I mean, like, that generated 500 lines of code for something fairly quick and easy to do. Like, 500 lines of code for that is a lot of lines of code. And I would worry about having repeats. Like, is there any way, and maybe this is somewhere in the tutorial and we just haven't gotten there yet, but is there any way to reuse this stuff, right? Like this class object here, is that defined every single time? This class range, is that defined in every single Coconut file? Sorry, Python from Coconut file. And if it is, that's unfortunate. Yeah, let's kill that. That's not gonna happen. Yeah, if that's what it's going to do, that's unfortunate. But I have a feeling that may not be what it does. My hope is that somewhere inside of Coconut there is an optimization for, hey, I've already defined that and it's over here. Go use it, right? It may or not be. So I kind of just want to play with a couple more of these and just kind of see what it's doing. Maybe not the quick sort though, because y'all can just read through that and see what it's doing. Although this is neat, this pattern matching. But let's not worry about that. So we can do vectors. We can do immutable objects. So vectors are fun. Yeah, let's check this out. So let's do, so the data statement lets us define new things. And then by defining those new things, we can, like, use them. So this is like defining class, right? So we'll call this a vector2, and it's going to take two items, an x and a y. And then for the absolute value of this, we're going to say, we're going to return self.x plus self.y. Both of those are squared. And then the whole thing times a half, or to the power of a half. Okay. So then let's do vector2, 1 and 2, and pipe that to print. Vector2, 3 and 4, and pipe that to print. And then vector 2, 1 and 2. And we're going to pipe that into fmap. Where we're... Okay. And then we're going to print that out. So, okay, so we're passing this into fmap, and we're doubling the things that come out. So then we can make a vector2 object. And if we say v.x is equal to 7, then that should give us an attribute error. So let's do coconut vector.coco. That's going to compile. And if we do Python vector.py, we get back our vector2 where we have 1 and 2, our vector2 where we have 3 and 4, our vector2 where we get 2 and 4 because that's the one where we mapped, and then we get an attribute error because we can't set that attribute. That's nice. I like that. That's really handy because then we can define our data types. And I'm wondering, are all data types immutable by default? Functional programming is designed to define immutable types, exchange tuples, immutable objects. Okay, so let me look down here and see if there's a way for us to make a mutable one. I would assume there's not, because we don't want there to be. Alright, yeah, let's not worry about that. So I'm going to guess that there is not a thing for doing mutable objects, because typically you don't want mutable objects. But it's cool to know if that's there or not. Alright, so let's play one more time with this vector here. And so we're going to redefine this as taking points. Takes however many points it takes. And then we override new because it's immutable. And that's going to take a class and however many points it takes. And we're going to match v is vector and points. So check to see if each thing in there is a vector. We're going to return v. If that's not the case, then we're going to return points. Pipe all of that to data maker for the class. Okay. I'm going to leave the abs thing there. So, oh, this is a regular vector, not a vector 2. So let's do that, that, and then here, data vector 2, and that took x and y, and this is just a vector. Okay, and then I'll get rid of the thing that generates the error, and let's just do vector 1, 2, and 3, pipe that to print, and then vector 4 and 5, pipe that to vector. Not sure what that does. And then print that. Okay. So coconut that. And then Python vector.py. So we get vector, and we get our points are 1, 2, and 3, and then here we get vector, and our points are 4 and 5. In this case, there's nothing where nothing but another vector was passed. In which case, it returns that. Otherwise, it returns the result of creating a tuple of the arguments and passing that to the underlying constructor. Oh, I see. So if we pass a vector into vector, it just returns the vector. Makes sense. Otherwise, it creates a new instance of it. So here, where we created a vector, and then we passed that vector into vector, vector just went, you already gave me a vector, here's your vector back. Okay. That's cool. Okay, so I think we can stop there for that one though. Coconut's neat. I suggest you all go and play with Coconut. It's a much more interesting language than I kind of expected. Let's look here at these 2 bits real quick. And then I don't have anything else planned, so please chat. Give me something to do for about a half an hour. What would you like to see? And I'm kind of up for trying out whatever. So let me know if there's a thing you want to see, or if you just have questions. We can kind of do whatever. So naming source files. So you can do .coco, .coc, .coconut. Compiles that like that. Compilation modes. Okay, so you can specify that it's a package or a standalone. Okay, and then you can control the targets. Oh, that's cool. So you can tell it, hey, I want this to work only on 2.7, or I want this to only work on 3.5. All right. Syntax highlighting. All right. And then let's look at the FAQ real quick, too. Okay. Yeah, there's a bit more to read. But, yeah, neat. Yuval wants to see me do a code fight. We can do a code fight if we have to. Actually, one of the things that I thought was cool about code fights was the interview questions. So I thought I might do one of those. And 30 minutes would be a good amount of time to do one of those. So maybe we will. Maybe I'll try one of the interview practices. And then Pause says, is there some shopping cart mix-ins for Flask? Thinking of also building a store. I don't know if there are any shopping cart mix-ins. There probably are. I would likely just do a shopping cart through something like Gumroad or Stripe or something like that instead. It's gonna be safer and just nicer. So I'd probably do that instead. So while there may be some I would suggest not doing it that way. Okay, so let's try doing an interview question. I'm gonna do this very slowly, most likely. And that's cool. That's fine. Y'all can just watch me do this. We'll talk through it. And we'll see what we're doing. All right. How does that sound? So we're gonna try and solve this task in ON time. So that means it takes more time the more things you have, but only as much time as it takes for how many of them you have. And we want to use O1 additional space, where n is the number of elements in L. Given a singly linked list of integers, so that's where they just point to the next one, determine whether or not it's a palindrome. So for L is equal to 0, 1, 0, the output should be isless palindrome L true. For 1, 2, 2, 3, it should be false. Okay. So is list palindrome. Okay, so we're going to get a list of list node objects. So each one of these has its own value, and it points to the next thing. Right? So, okay. So if I'm checking to see if a string is a palindrome, I'm going to reverse the list and see if the list, when reversed, is the same as the list passed in. So we could just try return L is equal to L : -1. So let's start with that. That's like our super whatever. Okay, so list node object is not subscriptable. Okay, so can I do reversed L? Argument to reverse must be a sequence. Is L not a sequence? Oh, you'd like to make it a little bigger if possible? Oh, I can do Vim. Haha. Theme, dark. Let's see if I can just... There we go. We'll bump up the font size a little bit. This may end up being not bumped up if I have to go and change things. Okay. I can't just do print L, right? Output null, : console output list node object. I bet they didn't define abs on that. Yeah, okay. Dir. Get next. Oh, so we have next and we have value. So you're sending me a list node. You're not sending me a list. A singly linked list of integers. Okay, so let's build up our list. So my list equals L.value my list equals that. For x in L, x equals L.next. While x, my list.append L.value. Pretty sure that's not going to work, but let's just see what we get in my list. It exceeded the execution time. Oh yeah, because the while tree is going to run forever. Okay, so I want to do this. I want to do first next equals L.value L.next. While next, so while something is next, I'm going to append L.value Yeah, because I don't have a good way to consume these. I just get back a value and a next pointer. See what happens there. Next equals L.next. Because I can't print off print L0, right? Yeah, whatever. That's fine. List node object does not support indexing. Duh. Okay. Print L. That gives me list node object. None type object has no attribute value. That's going to exceed execution time. Yeah. Because L is always going to exist. It's not a key, though, agenda. Like, that shouldn't work. Right? Because this is Python, not JavaScript. Yeah, and it's not subscriptable. But if I do dir L, then that's going to show me that there are two values, or two attributes named next and value. So what if I do get adder L value? None type object has no attribute value. Did y'all just write really horrible code on this or something? Like, L is supposed to be 0, 1, 0, and I'm assuming it's... It's actually... Oh, there we go. So console output there was 0. So when I did that, I got 0. That's what we got to look at. We got to look at this. Okay, so let's just return true, which is going to be wrong, but that's fine. We just want to see the tests. I don't care about that. I just want to see this. So console output is 0. Console output is empty. Oh, that failed because true's not a thing. Okay, run those tests. None type object has no attribute value. Which... That's just weird. So I got a 1. Okay. So, and then... I should be able to do the same thing here and just do L.value. Right? So, doing that, run these tests. Don't care about the console. Look at the test. I get 1. Okay. And if I was to do L.next and run these tests and look at this test, I get 1, and then I get the next node object. Okay. So my list equals that. And let's just say while x, let's do this. So we'll say x equals L.next. Well, actually, let's do this. Let's say y. X equals L.value. So while there's a y, I'm going to do mylist.append x.value. And then I want to say y equals x equals y.value. Y equals okay. I have my list. I'm going to put the value of the one that I'm currently looking at, and then I want to make myself look at the next one. So now x is equal to y's value. Yeah, Agenda, I think you got that one right there. So next is equal to I.next. Yeah. Yeah, next is equal to L.next. And while next is not none, because it's going to be none, then we want to do mylist.append next.value, and we want to say next is equal to next.next, or L.next. Something like that. Okay, so that assembles our thing. Let's just print that off for now. Let's see what that does. That didn't print anything. Okay, so now we've got 0, 1, 0. Cool. So we got all that. So now return my list is equal to my list reversed. Something went wrong. We try to get a none type. So if L is not none and L. Actually, we just say if L. What? That better not have lost all my input. If it did, we're trying a different question. Because this question's annoying me anyway. Okay. There we go. If L, all of that. Otherwise, we want to return false, I guess. So Rob, this is Python 3. Oh, if it's empty, then that's true? That doesn't make sense. Oh, no, I guess that does. I guess that would make sense, because an empty list is technically a palindrome. Alright, so submit that. Thanks for the help on that one, Agenda. I got the idea there. Yeah, we passed all the tests. Alright. Cool. Let's go back to interview practice. Let's try another one. We'll try one more. We got 15 minutes. We can do one more. Right? Let's find an easy one since I've got to do this while I'm talking. Find first substring occurrence. String permutations. Yeah, let's try string permutations. That can be fun. Okay. So we have to avoid using C++'s standard next permutation or similar features in the language to solve this challenge. Implement the algorithm yourself, since this is what you'd be asked to do during a real interview. Okay. Side note. Anyone who asks you not to use the features of the language that you're coding in is stupid. Because That's the whole point of the language having those features, is so you can use them. Same for whiteboards, same for all these other ridiculous demands we put on people if they want to be programmers, where we're like, hey, you've got to do this without using any of the tools that you're provided. It'd be like going to a chef and being like, make me a pizza, but you're not allowed to use dough or bread of any sort. Yeah, I'm sure they could do it, but why would they? That's really, really dumb. All right, rant aside. So, given a string S, find all of its potential permutations. The output should be sorted in lexicographical order. So for CBA, the output should be ABC, ACB, BAC, BCA, CAB, CBA. For S is equal to ABA, the output should be AAB, ABA, BAA. Okay, so the number of permutations is always going to be equal to what? The number of characters, number of individual characters in the string. Let's see. We've got 3 unique ones. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So number of unique characters times 1 less than the length of the string, because we already have 1 combination. Yeah. Okay. So total perms is equal to len s minus 1 times len set of s. So that tells us our total number of permutations. Oh, actually, I don't even need that. While len perms is less than total perms, perms dot add random dot sample s, where the k is equal to len of s. Return sorted perms. I shouldn't need to make that. Alright, super naive, but let's try it. Unhashable type list. Oh, yeah. Okay. Exceeded that. Did it though? So, I'm not doing this in a smart way, right? Like, this is actually a really stupid way to do it. What would be smart to do would be to go Python 3 permutations. And then we look at itertools, and we go, okay, how many of these do you want? So then we'd come back over here, and we'd say import itertools, and we'd say return itertools.permutations s. And then we'd run tests. Itertools permutations object is that. Okay, fine. We'll turn it into a list. And we'll run those tests. Oh, that's right. You want strings. So, dot join p for p in you want a list of that where it's a string of that joined. Yep. Let's go do what I prefer to do anytime I get weird code. Itertools. Itertools.permutations CAB. That gives me back this thing. Okay, so we're going to call that perms. And let's do a list of perms. Okay, so now let's do a list of that dot join p for p in perms. We get an empty list. LP is equal to a list of itertools dot permutations of s. Okay, so that gives us a list of all the permutations. We've consumed them all. So now, that in LP. Why would that fail? That one fails because perms has been reset. But if I do perms.seek0, what is it? Because perms is an iterable. Can I not reset that? Yeah, see, perms is an iterable because it has next. Okay, well, let's just try replicating this. So, LP equals a list of itertools.permutations for CAB. LP, LP, LP. Every time I look at LP, it's the same. Okay. So now I want a list of that dot join P for P in LP. And every time I ask for that, I get the same thing. So LP is equal to that. It's not the same order. No, it's empty. The order is fine. Oh, well, I do need to sort that as well, though. I'm wondering why that's... Yeah, see, why is that coming out as empty? How are you running this? Oh, and this one has too many items. Let's make that a set instead of a list. There we go. I think I was just reading stuff wrong. Okay, so that gives us that. We'll go ahead and submit it. Sweet. We got 6 out of 6 on both of those. Nice. It wasn't that amazing of a thing. But cool. So yeah, interview practice. It's not a bad thing to do. I definitely suggest going and playing with interview practice. Especially if you are looking for a job, or you think you may be in the next year. It's not a bad idea to go and see what you can accomplish with your skills. Oh man, I just got to get 500,000 and I can get a T-shirt. And try the interview practice, because the interview practice is it's never going to be a bad idea. So 5 minutes left. If you've got questions, if you've got comments, let me know. We got about 5 minutes left, and then I'm gonna call it for the day. I got stuff I gotta do. What do I have to do? Actually, I don't know if I have anything I have to do for special stuff today, but definitely things I have to do. I got family to attend to. So yeah, if you've got any questions or concerns or comments, leave them in the chat, and we'll get to it in the next couple minutes. Anybody gonna use Glitch to go and build their first Alexa skill or Twitter bot or anything like that? Anybody excited about using Glitch? Because I think Glitch is a pretty awesome platform. I think Code Fights is cool too. It's definitely a lot of fun to try and play around with and see what you can do. Yeah, Pause. You're 100% welcome. Happy to have you here. Happy to get to do the chat and the live stream. It's a lot of fun to do these. So hopefully these stick around for a long time, because it's fun to do. It's fun to get to talk to y'all. By the way, I will not be here for the entire month of August. Just as a note, I'm going to be going on my sabbatical. We get a sabbatical at Treehouse every 3 years, so I'm taking my sabbatical. I'm going to go, I don't know what I'm going to do for August, but I'm going to do something for August. But I won't be here. I won't be doing the live streams. So Alina is going to fill in for a few of the weeks, and James is going to fill in for the rest of the weeks. So y'all should be sure and show up and watch them. Alina will be doing PHP, I'm sure, and James will be doing C# as well, I'm sure. He does a lot of JavaScript, so maybe he'll do some Angular or something like that as well. I don't know. But be sure and tune in and watch them. Give them lots of love and support, because they do good stuff. They're pretty awesome. So come and watch them. And if you are in the Ohio area, Pi Ohio is still selling tickets, as far as I know. Let's look that up before I lie on camera. Registration. Can we still register? Yes, there are still tickets available. So, if you're anywhere near Ohio, anywhere near Columbus, Pi Ohio is going on at the end of July, and if you looked at the talks list, I'm speaking. So if you want to come to Ohio and listen to me talk, or come to Ohio and just talk to me before or after my talk and not actually show up for my talk, because there's lots of other really great talks coming up, then please show up. I would love to see all of you, say hi, hang out, and yeah. So anyway, Pi Ohio, July 29th. It's going to be awesome. It's completely free if you just want to attend. If you just want to show up, all you got to do is get registered. You don't have to pay anything at all. So, yeah, definitely recommend checking it out. But that's noon minus like a minute or so. I haven't seen any questions pop up. Pause says they told several people about Treehouse at BSD Can. That's awesome, Pause. Thank you for spreading the word, spreading the love and everything. Brandon says, it feels like this will be a really dumb question. There's no such thing, Brandon. Trust me. Why not just return L is equal to L colon -1 colon -1? They weren't passing me a list of linked items. They were passing me a linked list, so each node just told where to go find the next node. So it wasn't a thing that could be consumed and passed. Now, I probably could have written a function that consolidated all of that and then gave me something that could be passed around, but that wasn't it. I really don't like linked lists. I find linked lists to be... I just don't get them. So, yeah. Ivan, is what Python? The most of the code we've been writing today has been Python. Well, I guess we wrote JavaScript, and then we wrote Coconut, and then we wrote Python. So we've written a lot of things. But which part are you wondering is Python? Thanks, Tyler. That's a great message there. I hope you feel better about yourself having posted that message. I know when I post messages like that, it's all about telling somebody the truth and not about making myself feel better. Great job. Anyway, it is a minute after noon, so I'm going to call it quits. I will see you all next week? Yeah, next week. I'll be here next week. Sorry, I've got some trips coming up. I will be here next week, and we will do more stuff. Tweet me. Twitter's right there. Tweet me ideas for things you'd like to see me code. I'm running a little dry on ideas, so let me hear what you got, and we will do something cool and fun. But until then, I will see you all next week. Later.